I'm speaking with Rose Baxter, who is running for Selectmen. Now, Rose, you live down in Union,
That's correct.
and I've seen you've been very active in the meetings for quite some time. For the folks that don't know you, what can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I have been living here for almost 6 years now. I can't believe it's been that long. I bought the old Excelsior mill, which we used to do a resale and salvage work as well as restoration of old antique furniture.
Okay. Now, you've been, as I said, active in coming to the meeting. You've been a participant there quite a bit, and there's some issues that you feel that we talked a little bit about off camera here, that you, as a selectman, you'd like to see addressed. I mean, can you start with a few of them?
Yeah, I think we need to do some better budgeting of our finances as a town. We have a large amount of money that needs to be coming out. I don't have an issue with the fact that we need the money. I think we need to address the fact of how to get the money. We should be putting it away on a regular basis so that the townspeople can budget their taxes to know how much they're going to be expected to pay every year. And to be taking out large sums of money at the last minute on a budget makes it very difficult for the people of the town to be able to have an idea of where they're going to go. And also, we shouldn't be waiting until the last minute. And we have, I believe it's 7 or 9 bridges that need to be fixed. The water district has issues that we should be helping with, and other expensive adventures that we need to do, road work, school, and we need to be addressing setting that money aside, not 5% at a time, but figuring out a fair amount to put away every year so that we can budget it in every year, and it's not a large sum of money. And we shouldn't be postponing putting the money away because we're not fixing the bridge for 10 years. We should be addressing it now and working towards a better budgeting system than what we've had now.
Okay, now, of course, we all know that Union's part of Wakefield. It's a village of Wakefield. And in the last couple of years, there were some of the residents on there, they requested some money to help with the Drew Mill Dam. And then this year, they brought forth a warrant article for some help with the bridge. And those things haven't worked out very well. I mean, how do you feel about that? What do you think?
The Drew Mill, I don't have a lot of information on. I'm very historical, so anything historical I would definitely support. My concern would be more with the Maple Street Bridge, and a lot of people are not aware of the whole issue with Maple Street Bridge. It is unsafe to drive, walk, or anything else, so it's been closed. Right. We have a snowmobile bridge that's temporarily on top of it. But the other bridge was actually put in with the state agreement that the Maple Street Bridge would be open. So Maple Street Road and Brewster Road are both out of code with the state right now, meaning that insurances and town properties are actually not as worth as much as they were when the bridge was open. And yes, some people in town have only one access to their roads, but they've been planned that way so you can safely live on them. Ours hasn't. Ours just got the bridge got closed down. There's no egress. There's no way of turning around down on my end of the road. The plows have to actually back up and turn around in my back parking lot to get out. And then when they're on the other side of the bridge, the railroad tracks, if somebody's coming through, they have to climb up onto Brewster Road to get out. So it is a dilemma, and our property is business property, and we're right next to the bridge. And I can't get any semis in there right now because they don't want to drive on residential roads, and we don't want to see them driving on residential roads. So there's a lot to be addressed on that, but I think not just Maple Street Bridge. I think all the bridges that are on I believe there's 3 of them in town that are on the red list need to be addressed immediately. Not just Maple Street, but the 3 on the red list need to be addressed immediately. It's not something that should be waiting for 10 years, even if it means borrowing money from the state. I know we don't like to do that, but those 3 bridges are in serious need of repair. And a lot of people are talking about just taking Maple Street down, but they're not realizing it's only like, I believe there's like a $40,000 difference between taking it down and replacing it. And to me, that sounds like, why don't we just put the extra 40,000 in and rebuild the bridge?
Right. So it sounds to me like, these infrastructure issues that we have, when you're talking bridges specifically, I mean, if you become selectman, you would be looking for creative ways to kind of more fast track those than waiting tens of years to address those issues.
Correct. And as a selectman, I represent the people if they vote me in. So it wouldn't be my individual personal interests that I would be addressing. Even if I'm against the majority would always win. So if a bunch of people came to me and said they're against this, then I would have to side with them, even if I don't agree with them.
Right.
I'm not running as a special interest group, like I've seen a lot of people in different positions in town run for special interest groups. I'm not running as a special interest group. I am an individual in town that cares about this town and really feel that a selectman should represent the majority of the people in the town, not their own biased opinions.
Okay, so you're saying that you'd be willing to listen to everyone.
Correct.
And that you would try to make decisions based on what's the best for the entire town, not just a small group of people.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. And the other thing is a lot of people haven't been made aware of the fact that a lot of the stuff we're arguing about in town is state mandatory, so we can't change it unless you want to change it on a state level. And like, I'm upset with the camper situation that's been talked about a lot in town. But the state RSA states that you can only live in a camper for 180 days. It doesn't say consecutive, but it does. So you can't live in a camper for more than 180 days. And so we need to address that. I mean, I don't agree with the consecutive days, but we need to work something out so we're not breaking state statute. And we're also making the people happy that have campers in the area. I'm very much for recreational use because that's where most of the money in town comes from, is our recreational use of campers and four-wheelers and lakes and fishing and hunting. So it's very important that we keep that alive and running. And I know we're picking up because the snowmobiles, even with the least amount of snow that we've had this year, have been like going through our property tremendously, to the point we have to when we're walking our dogs, the snowmobiles are going through, we're gonna have to wait. So it's very important that we keep that going because we all need that income in town.
Now, you mentioned the budget process as something that you feel you'd like to address, and I know that you have a business.
I do.
And do you think some of those business experiences you've had and accounting and so forth will help you with that?
I believe so. We have very large overhead where we work. I also do volunteer work, so I have learned to deal with very small amounts of money and make them work to the benefit of the company or whatever fundraiser or volunteer service that I'm doing.
So budgeting is not a foreign thing to you.
No, money. As a matter of fact, one of my sons says you can take $300 and spread it farther than most people we know.
Great.
So I do believe that it can be done.
Yeah.
It's just that we're just not managing the money of the town in a way that it should be. It's not that I'm not against spending the money. If it's done in a way that is good for the town.
Yeah, it sounds like we know we need to spend money to provide services, but would like to do it in a frugal manner. And well, we're just about out of time, but I think I'd like to thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
And I wish you good luck in the election road.